Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos. So today I have for you something different. Since we have the World Tournament coming up, I thought I'd show you guys the 4 decks that I'm going to be taking to the ladder once the tournament starts. I'm not using Harpy's Hunting Ground, I'm not using Relinquished, I'm not using Blue Eyes. I'm using decks that you would probably consider rogue. Because you're probably not gonna see these decks too often, so I wanted to share it with you guys. I've also made videos over 3 of the 4 decks that I'm going to be showing you today, so I'll leave those links in the description if you want to go and check it out in depth. But I have updated those deck lists since the video was posted. So anyway, this is my hand destruction deck. It basically revolves around gaining card advantage or taking card advantage from your opponent by making him discard. And we use White Magical Hat. He's very weak, so we need cards that power him up over our opponent's monsters like Metamorph, or that bring our opponent's monsters attack down like Mirror Wall and Half Shot. Because I'm running the 2 Half Shot, I have a Death Kangaroo, which works wonderfully if you have him in defense mode and they attack. You activate Half Shot. Their monster can be destroyed by battle, but it'll get destroyed by Kangaroo's effect. I run 1 Display Rider because I run 3 normal traps, so I have his effect once those cards are in the graveyard. 2 Grievous for defense and 2 Sergeant Electro to lock down the back row. Before I was running this with Yugi and Power of Dark, but the 200 boost doesn't really do much for this deck. So instead I'm running Mind Scan so that I gain an advantage, and I know which card I should target with Sergeant Electro. And but yeah, let's go ahead and show you. I'm gonna show you 2 replays from this deck. I was using it earlier, and then I have 3 more decks to show you, and I'll have 1 replay for each of the 3 other decks that I use. Again, this deck it's what I use when the ranks resets. This deck can just speed through Silver 1 all the way to Gold 2 or Gold 3. So that's basically what I'm showing you today. So anyway, I summon my Sergeant Electro and put a Metamorph down. He goes 3-star demotion into a Dark Magician Girl. Sets 2 back row. I target the Econ. He chains. Doesn't really matter because I'm able to switch my Sergeant Electro back. I try to attack. He knows something's up, so he activates Grevo. But I can still activate Metamorph on my White Magical Hat to get over the Dark Magician Girl. He makes the mistake of activating his Metamorph because it doesn't matter. It's still not enough. Didn't have anything in hand, so he just surrenders. So that one was a pretty quick duel. But anyway, like I was saying, in the order I'm going to show you these decks is in the same order I use them on the ladder. So these I use in the lower ranks. The next deck is what I use from Gold 2, Platinum 1, and the last 2 are what I use in Platinum and when I try to get to King of Games. So anyway, this is our second replay with the same deck. I'm going to activate Character Alliance so that it goes a little bit slower and you can see what's happening. But anyway, he goes first, summons Leotard and sets 1 Mask of a Curse down. I set Death Kangaroo and I have 3 back row: Metamorph, Mirror Wall, and Enemy Controller. So I go for the Mirror Wall to get his attack down to 1000, and because of Death Kangaroo's effect, his monster is destroyed. He also summoned, set Kaiba Man in defense mode. I'm not sure why he did that. I guess he was afraid of summoning his Blue Eyes because of all the back row I had. But unfortunately for him, that's gonna play in my favor because I'm able to destroy his Kaiba Man with Death Kangaroo, and then I attack directly with my white magical hat. He has to discard one card, which ends up being his Blue Eyes. So look at his card advantage. I have 5 cards, he's gonna have 3 after he draws. So he activates Mask of a Curse on my white magical hat because he obviously doesn't want me discarding anything else from his hand. And then he sets Adhesive Explosive. I attack into it because I know it, although my monster is gonna get destroyed, I'm gonna have a chance to activate enemy controller, and so if he summons anything, I'm gonna be able to steal that before my standby phase, which he does exactly that. He summons this dragon, and on my turn, as soon as I draw a card, I activate my enemy controller, tributing my Death Kangaroo before it gets destroyed, and then I have enough with my Sergeant Electro to attack for game. So as you can see, the card advantage you get by using this deck is pretty devastating for your opponent. Yes, White Magical Hat is very weak, but that's why you run all the protection and all the attack boost for him. So let's go ahead and show you the next deck, which is a Kaiba beatdown deck that uses a Amaryllis. It was a deck that I was super excited about. I'm gonna change the profile real quick. There we go. So I've updated it ever since I posted the video. I have stronger monsters now, like Summon Skull and Beast of Talwar. But basically, this deck revolves around getting your Amaryllis in the grave, and with its effect, you're able to summon 5 and 6 star monsters from your hand without tributing, and then you're able to buff them up with the beatdown skill. I also run Embodiment just because it's a special summon, and if I don't have Amaryllis in grave, then I have something to tribute for my big monsters. The way we get Amaryllis in the grave is we have Magical Merchant, one of them. We have Dust Knight, which can send it straight to the graveyard, the Amaryllis straight to the graveyard. And then we run 2 Needlebug Nest, because chances are if you mill 5, you run 3 Amaryllis, you're gonna get one of those in the grave. Monsters is up to personal preference. I like Mephis because it gives me card advantage. Same thing goes for Air Knight. And I use Divine Knight Ishtar, I can't say his name, because he's a super good counter against Last Gamble decks. He counters Gravekeepers because you're banishing the monster and they don't get their graveyard effects. But one is enough in my opinion. So anyway, let's go ahead and show you the replay of this deck. And again, this gets me all the way to Platinum 1. I kind of stopped using it at Platinum 1 just because I'm not so sure how it's gonna do, but I've been relinquished with it. I've beaten Harpy's Hunting Ground. It's a powerful deck. So anyway, as you can see in my hand, I don't have any normal summons, but I do have Needlebug Nest, so that's gonna help me in the next turn. I'm going up against Gemini. My opponent summons Skelesaurus and sets 1 card. I actually draw into Amaryllis, so I'm able to just set that. And then I have Needlebug Nest and Mirror Wall for protection. So luckily for me, he didn't activate, or he didn't normal summon the same Skelesaurus, because that would have actually screwed my play, because he would have taken my Amaryllis from grave. Instead, he summoned another one and attacked me for 1700, but I just banish it from the grave, summoning my Mephis without a tribute, activate beatdown for that 300 boost, and then I destroy his monster and discard 1 hand. And also, if he tries to get over my monster, I have Mirror Wall to protect me. So I draw. I immediately activate my Needlebug Nest to try to get another Mirrorleaf into the grave, which I do. I activate its effect, and then I summon my Divine Knight, I believe. Yeah, and now I have two level 5 or higher monsters. So my beatdown gives me 600 boost. Look at that, 2400 Mephist, 2900 Divine Knight. Also, you don't see it in this duel, but I do run the Fiend Mega Cyber. So although he is a 6-star monster that you need to tribute for, sometimes you can just drop him on the field if your opponent has 2 more monsters than you do. So that synergizes very well in this deck. Again, once you take card advantage from your opponent and at the same time you have 2 big monsters, there's not a lot they can do, so they just surrender. And let's get into our next deck, which I'm not going to explain too much of this one because I just made a video on it. A lot of you really liked it, so I was very happy. It's just the Dark Magician deck. I'm going to link the video down below where the explanation goes in depth, but for now I'm just going to jump straight into the replay, which is actually really cool. This is a mirror match. This was in Platinum 2, and I was going up against the same thing, 3-star demotion Dark Magician. In the mirror match, it really comes down to who sets their field first. In this case, I did. My opponent went first, which I hated that. However, he's running a different version than I am, and he doesn't go aggressive, he just sets a monster. So at this point, I'm super happy because I have my Dark Magician. I'm gonna have my 2 Champions Vigilance for his turn. At this point, I knew I had won the game, to be honest. So this is what he was doing in his deck. He has Crystal Seer, which is not a bad card at all. However, it's very slow in the mirror match. He decided to just set it to gain an extra card, but by then my field was set up and there's nothing he could do. He grabs his Dark Magician, goes for the 3-star demotion. All I have to do is negate the summon, and like I said, the game is over. I know that 3-star demotion decks don't run a lot of back row, and even if that back row was legitimate, I have my Champion's Vigilance, so I'm good. And I draw into my 3rd one, unfortunately for him. But at that point, it didn't matter. I had already won the game. I attack directly, he doesn't even try to stop me. And it's GG. So yeah, not a lot to explain there. Like I said, the video I made yesterday goes more in depth into the build. And then for my last deck that I have not made a video on it, mainly because the cards are really hard to get. You either have to farm a lot or you have to buy a lot of packs. So here it is, it's Gravekeepers. So as you can see, it runs 3 Sheaf, 2 Oracle, 3 Gravekeepers Recruiter. Let me change the deck list real quick. There we go. Yeah, 3 Recruiter, only 2 Priestess because you don't really need her. I actually kind of hate drawing her in the games, but you need more Gravekeeper monsters, so you kind of forced to run them. 1 Soul Exchange because I only have 1. I would run more if I had them. 1 Noble Man of Extermination for back row. It's basically a placeholder for the other Soul Exchange, but it's also very useful. 3 Double Summon, which is here is where you kind of have to spend a lot of gems to get them. 3 Enemy Controller, which again another card that is super hard to get because you have to farm Kaiba and the drop rate is ridiculous. And then 1 Storm, just in case your field is set up and you have extra double summons or soul exchange. It's another card to get rid of problematic back row. I used to run this with switcheroo, but ever since the nerf, I'm using restart and it works very well. I believe this deck can make King of Games. I'm not gonna claim that I've made King of Games because I have not, but that's mainly because I don't have the time to just sit there and grind out those games. But I believe this deck can reach it no problem. So that's my plan. I'm gonna use the two other decks to get up the ladder fast on the World Championship, and these two to try to place high. Because I heard some rumors that we might be getting like SR and UR rewards for placing high, kind of like the KC Cup. So I'm definitely gonna try to at least get one of the SRs. So we're going up against Weevil. He has 3 parasites. This was also in Platinum too. Sets 1 card. I go for Nobleman of Extermination. It was attack and receive, so I get to banish all 3 of them from his deck. And then I just set my Gravekeeper's Recruiter with an enemy controller that I don't really need. He insect whistles me, which you actually don't mind that much in Gravekeepers, because it's just an extra card that you contribute for your Gravekeeper Chief. So yeah, I lose 1,000 life points, but it doesn't matter. He just set another monster thinking he'd be setting up a safe wall, but as you know, Gravekeeper's Oracle does not care, and he just destroys anything that's face down. So I tribute my chief in order to summon Oracle. I immediately destroy those 2 monsters and get a chief to my hand. I attack for 2,000 directly. He lets it through, and look at that. He has no resources. He has 1 card in his hand. I destroyed his 2 monsters. I got rid of his back row. The only thing he can do is keep insect whistling. He actually summons Panda, and he tries to get 1,500 damage. However, I do have the enemy controller face down, so not only do I protect my my life points, I'm also protecting the parasite itself, because I'm gonna be tributing for Gravekeeper's Chief. And at this point, it's pretty much game. He does have a Grevo in hand, so he gets to stall for 1 turn, but I tribute his parasite, I special summon my recruiter, destroy the panda, try to go for game. He has a Grevo, but I'm still able to do 1,200 damage. He actually top decks pretty good. The 1 card that could help him, which is a panda, because he is at 2,300, but he decides not to attack, which it doesn't matter if he did, his attack was going to go lower, and I do have another Oracle in my hand. I just tribute my recruiter, search for another chief in case I needed it, but I don't. Activate Oracle's effect, lowering his attack and defense 2,000, just broken, and then I just attack for game. So as you see, this was pretty crazy. I only had 2 spells, everything else was monsters, and I still won the game. Gravekeepers are very, very powerful. And that is it for a replay. So like I said, those are the decks that I'm gonna be using to climb in the coming tournament. Let me know what you guys think, or let me know what you guys are gonna use. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you like this video and you might try some of these decks out. Once again, I'm gonna leave the links to the videos for the individual decks except Gravekeepers in the description. Comment, subscribe, like if you want, and till next time.